Sunday, July 22, 2018. This is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and this is my 1998 Volvo V70 GLT project car. I actually got the radiator bolted in place last night and then just kind of had to make that my stopping point. Today I played jigsaw puzzle with everything else here and finally got everything hooked up, I believe, correctly. I used my S70 and my wife's V70 as reference points, but since neither of those are turbocharged cars, there was a little bit of trial and error. I mean, I knew how everything was supposed to hook up, but it was a matter of, does X hose go behind Y hose or in front of it? Does so-and-so cable route in front of this thing or that? So in order to make everything fit, it took a little bit of trial and error. So I got that all squared away. I filled up the transmission. It does not seem to be leaking. Filled up, did an oil change, drained whatever was left in there, put in fresh oil and a fresh filter, and I filled up the cooling system. And when I was starting to fill it, it started to leak on me, so I actually had to stop there for a moment. And let me show you something. Just give me a second. So the lower radiator hose was leaking here at the end. You can see where this hose is broken underneath the hose clamp. And I'm actually wondering if that was the problem the previous owner had, whether or not the radiator sprung a leak. Actually, whether or not the radiator itself was fine, and it was that hose that sprung a leak right there. So, seeing as how I don't have a brand new hose or even a good used one handy, and I certainly don't want to spend another $1 on this car until I know it's a solid base for a project, I just cut that end off the hose, and I had more than enough hose still to hook everything up. I only lost maybe half an inch to a 3/4 and an inch off the hose there. So I'm basically ready to start it up and see how it sounds. One thing I noticed though was you actually can't see anything here, but on this side of the car, the sway bar link, I was underneath the car and I noticed that the sway bar link was not hooked up to the sway bar. Then I reached around and I found that the sway bar itself was broken and bent up and out of the way here. So before I actually test drive the car, I'm actually going to have to get in here at some point and take the wheel off and remove what's left of that sway bar link. So that's one thing I know that I would need to replace. I thought I noticed a little bit of play on the in the wheel here, but I'm not sure it's enough to make it fail inspection. I'm also not sure where exactly that's coming from. Maybe once I have the sway bar link in, everything will seem solid. I just don't know. So I'm going to try to start the car now. I have severe doubts about this battery right here, so I'm just going to double check the connections and try to start the car. And if it doesn't start, then I'm actually going to pull the good battery out of my S70, transplant it in here, and give that a try. So I swear I'm not doing this for extra drama. I don't anticipate the car will start on this battery, but I just don't feel like pulling the other battery out of the other car until I know it's necessary. So here's a try. Wow, it started. Didn't sound great there right on startup, but let this go a couple of minutes and see what happens. Certainly not the smoothest sounding engine I've ever heard, but maybe a tune-up would help that. But here it is running. So I just wanted to film one last bit here. I've had it running for a little while now, and I'm about to shut it off and just completely call it a day. But the engine does seem to have quieted down and smoothed out a bit. So I'm guessing, yeah, that the lifters had bled down. And of course it is a bit loud now that the hood is open, but it really does sound to me roughly like the S70 and the other V70. And the radiator fans just came on, so I know those work. Tested the air conditioner, and no luck on that so far, but you know, one of the next times I'm out here, I'll check pressure on that, see if maybe adding Freon will help that. So anyhow, I am psyched. This car's a runner. Next step to see is how it drives, and then I go from there. So this is Mercedes Diesel Guy. Thanks for watching.